Hello everyone. Let's start the analysis of the second problem, HackerRank problem. So now I'm going to solve this step by step. Okay. So what is the problem here first of all? So the problem is given an array A of n integers, print array elements in the reverse order as a single line of space separated numbers. Okay, so this is an array A 1 2 3 4. Okay, so we should print 4 space 3 space 2 space 1. So all these numbers should be printed on the same line, and they should be separated by space. Okay, so that is a problem which we need to solve. So we need to understand the input first the input format. Okay, so the input format is the first line. Okay, the first line of the input. Okay, uh, will contain an integer n. Okay, uh, so they would have given the example here. So the first line is number of integers in that line. Okay, so first line contains an integer n, the size of an array. Okay, and the second line contains the n separated integers, space separated integers. Okay, whatever the numbers. So if n is 4, you will have n number of n integers separated by space on a same line. Okay, it is on second line. So if you see in this example, right, so you have 4 integers. That's the first input. Second input is the line which will contain 4 numbers. So whatever the number that has been entered here, 4 numbers separated by space. Okay, 1 4 3 2. So that the sample of what they are given is, so we should just reverse it, right? So there are multiple things to solve here. Okay, so let me write down those things. Okay, let us move on to the Microsoft Word. So the first problem is, okay, so you need to divide them into multiple problems. So first is read the input. Okay, so in input we have one is first line. Okay, the first line, so it will have n. Okay, it is basically the number of integers. Okay, so the second line will contain the integer numbers itself. Okay, so numbers separated by space. Okay, so for example, let's say the n is 3 and the numbers are 1 2 3. Okay, see, this is a blank space, so I just write it like this. Okay, so 3 spaces, 3 integers separated by spaces. So the blank is a blank space. So reading input is again a task within the problem, right? So you should solve that as well. So once you read this, then you need to put this into a list. Okay, so the list is it will have how many numbers? 3 numbers, right? 1 2 and 3. Okay, so then you have to read this and print it in reverse order. Okay, so again the slash b is your blank space. Okay, so this is what you need to do. Problem looks very simple, right? So you need to read the problem, divide it into this. This is the first task, second task, and generating the output Okay, generating the output is another task, right? Okay, now let's move on to the problem. Okay, then let's solve try to understand what is there. Okay, here, so they have already given a code. Okay, so what is that code? So the buffer reader, right? So why is buffer reader used? Okay, so the buffer reader is used to read any stream of any stream. It could be any file stream or input stream. So what they have done is they have created a input stream reader and given std system.in. So this is our standard input. Okay, uh, basically whatever you entered in the keyboard, right? So that will be represented as a stream. Okay, so it's a buffered reader. So you are creating that object, and next you are going to read the, okay, so the next line is basically your sorry, you are reading the reading n, okay, which will be uh, the number of integers. Okay, so this buffer reader dot read line is the one which is going to read that particular thing, and is trying to eliminate all the trim. What does trim do? So it will return a string whose value is string, so which will leading and trailing spaces will be removed. Okay, within that line. So for example, uh, user will enter uh, n. Okay, so 4 5, okay, let's say 5. And if you say for example he enters in between, he also presses spaces. Okay, so I call this b as a space, blank space, right? So what does trim do? Trim will remove this v and this v. Okay, so and return only this 5. Okay, so that 5 will be initially in a part of a string, right? So that has to be converted into an integer. So that's what is being done here. So parseInt will parse. So this is your string, right? So which is actually coming from the input. So that will be passed and converted to an integer. Okay, and stored in n. Okay, so you got the n. Okay, so the next thing. So next thing, see what is the next thing? So reading the second line, right? So now, so the buffer. So how do you read this line? This line reads to be complex, right? So first, see the innermost function call. So buffer reader dot read line. So this, it will basically read the line. Okay. Say for example, user has entered 1432. Then it will read 1432. Okay. Then dot replace all. Okay. So what does this do? So what is this buffer dot read line? It's a string, right? So string dot replace all. So what does replace all do? Replace all will replace the characters or a string, okay, represented by this regex. Okay, it's a regular expression. Don't worry about this. Okay, so it will replace that, and okay, so you need to understand this particular thing. Okay, okay. So in order to understand what is this regular expression and what does this particular statement do, so just what I will do is I will just simply cut. Okay, so this see this replace all basically returns a string. Okay, so it's returns a string. Okay, so don't worry about what is there in this particular reply expression. Let's try to understand what this particular string is doing. So what I will do is string uh, second line is equal to, okay, so what basically it does, it will read and replace. Okay, so it is going to replace certain characters. So what is that we need to see? Okay, see the slashes is basically is an non-white space character. Okay, so what I will do is a system dot out dot println. Okay, don't think why. See, these things we need to remove for the final output, but this is only for understanding. You will have to do this. Okay, even when you are solving the problem, HackerRank problem, try to do this. Okay, so just to understand, see this, whatever the code that has been given by them, you should be able to understand. Okay, so what I'm doing, I am reading the line, okay, from the buffered input, and then replace certain characters with it's not a blank actually. If certain characters are there, it will be removed basically. So this will remove those certain characters. See, it's a non-white space character, so it's a white space character. Okay, white space characters will be removed. So why this complexity? Actually, it's not, see, this complexity is not required. We can also do it in a different way. Okay, still it should work. We will see that later. Okay, now let's run this program. See, definitely it will not work. I mean, you will not get a result, but we should see what is being printed out here. So where it will come, it will come your output under this. Okay, so what is this input? So the input will be 41432, right? So the two lines of input, and then what is the output? So the whatever you print whatever you print in system.out.println will come and appear here. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, so this is only for you to get used to the HackerRank console. Okay, so let's run this code. There will be errors, don't worry. Okay, so the wrong answer, that's fine, that's fine. So now what is being printed here? 1432. Okay, so basically what it is written, so whatever the second line is there is being printed here, right? So, and you can see this expected output. See, this is what it is expecting. See, only when your output matches this expected output, okay, then only your answer will be right, right? So then only your test will go through. So now, right now, we are not doing it. See, we are still not solved the problem. So what we are trying to do understand is, we are trying to understand what this particular line does, right? So it is going to return the second line basically. So, and what is being done in the next line? The second line dot split. So the split function actually removes, see, this particular character space. Okay, removes in the sense it will split the string. Say for example, if your input is 1 2 3 and 4, okay, so all these blanks, so it will use this blank space as a separator. Okay, so for split you should give the separator. Okay, so the separator is basically your this blank string. Okay, that again is the regex expression. So learning regex expressions will take a lot of time. Okay, so what it is basically splitting, it is splitting the input. Okay, and it will split like this. Okay, one, and it will return, split will return what? Array of strings. Okay, so array of strings means it will so first line will contain 1, second line will contain 2, second string will so sorry, it is basically your string array. String array, the first element will be 1, second element will be 2, third element will be 3, and fourth element will be 4, and so on. Okay, based on the number of elements. Say for example, if you have 7 8 9, so your split will return what? 7 8, sorry, 8 and 9. Okay, so like this it will return. So this is a string array. Okay, so let's remove this. So what next is being done? So this array, so what is the output of this? This is a string array, right? But that string array is used as a source to convert that into a string. Okay, so what is being done? So on every array element, Okay, so first is that particular string is read, and so that will convert that into a string, right? So your string. So this becomes your string. Okay, output of this statement. So on that string, every element, okay, of that string, you are going to map. Okay, you are going to map this to a parse integer. So you are basically converting that particular every number. Say for example, if you have 1 2 3 4, and your string array will contain 1 2 3 and 4. So this, after this statement it is converted into a string, right? So what will string do? It will go through each one of this element, okay, and convert and apply this function. Okay, apply this function parse int. That means a parse int is applied to this, parse int is applied to this, and converted that into an integer, right? So it will convert that an integer, and next statement it will collect that particular those elements and convert that into a list. Okay, so this entire exercise, okay, so reading a line, okay, and convert and splitting the line with this blank space, okay, and that string array converted into a string, and that string every element is converted into a integer, and that those integers, okay, so it's basically the every element of that integer is pushed into your list. Okay, so the output is basically your list of integers, right? So now we just need to see what you have right now. You have a list of integers, right? So here you basically have a list of integers. You just need to reverse that, okay, and print that on the line. Okay, so the next activity which we need to do, which is the basic problem, is reversing a list, right? So how do you do that? Okay, so now let's look into that. Okay, so now next thing is reversing the list. So should we really have to reverse? Say for example, if the input list is like this 1 2 3 and 4, the list reverse should be what? 4 3 2 and 1. So should we have to actually reverse the list? I don't think so it is required, because what is asked in the problem is to print the elements of an list. Print it in the reverse order. So print what? Print the input, right? So 1 2 3 4, and you just print it. So you have read the input and read the input line, and you have converted those numbers, converted the line of the numbers, right? Space separated numbers into a list, right? So you just need to print them in a reverse order. That's all. So you just no need to reverse the string and then print. It's not required at all. So you just need to print, right? So let's try to do that. Okay, so I have written this for loop, right? So the for loop, what you're saying, I'm trying to basically go through the list of integers in a reverse order. That's all. Okay, I'm just looping through. So what I'm doing, I'm starting from the index, okay, the last index of an list, and putting them in the reverse order. So I'm starting with array dot size. So say for example, if list has 4 numbers, so the 4 minus 1 is 3. So from 3 I'm starting, and the condition, so I greater than or equal to 0 to till the index becomes 0. Okay, so I need to decrement that and then print it. It is so simple, right? So you just need to print them. System dot out dot print. Okay, I'm not going to use println because I need to print all the numbers in the same line, right? Okay, so just like to print. Okay, so what I'm going to print, array dot get index. So this particular function returns you the element of the list at a per given index, okay, which is that index I, right? Okay, now I need to give a space in between two numbers, right? Let's see what happens if I don't give this. Okay, right? So let's try to run this. Okay, I'll run this. Okay, so definitely it will not work, don't worry. So let's try to analyze, see what is printed in this when this program is run, right? It is the output of this program is printed in this particular window, your output, right? So where is this coming from? 1432. You remember we just printed this as a system.out.println, so this is not required, right? See, remember one more thing. For the solution, I mean for your problem to get solved, this expected output, this your output should match with expected output. So what is expected output? 203,421. So your output also should come like this, and it should exactly match. Then only your test case will pass here. Okay, so see, our output contains two lines here, so obviously it is not matching. So the HackerRank compiler will look at these things. Okay, so now I'm going to comment this out. Now let's see what output. So I mean this should go 1432 should go. Okay, so run code. Okay, see, that is gone, right? Now you see what is happening. 2341. So where is it coming from? So this is coming from this particular for loop, right, where we are actually printing the list in a reverse order. If you see, what is the output? Expect output 2341. Our output 2341, there is no space here, right? So it's exactly matching this, right? It's exactly matching this. Okay, so now, so what we need to do, we just need to print a space in between, right? So let's do that. So as soon as one number is printed, we just need to print a blank space. Okay, so what I'm doing, so this plus this, right, I'm just printing it into the console. So now let's run it. Okay, run the code. What happened? We have solved the problem, right? So with this input we are able to solve. So now whether the problem is completely solved, we don't know. See, because we still need to submit the code. It has passed only one test case. It's only one test case, and what HackerRank does, it will run through multiple test cases. Okay, so now let's submit the code where HackerRank, this compiler will run, will go through multiple test cases and give us the output. So if any of the test cases fail, then we will have to modify the program and make sure that those test cases as well pass, right? Right, so let's submit the code. So it is going through all the test cases, right? You see this, right? So we have solved the problem. Okay, so all the test cases are passed. Okay, that's it. That's so simple, right? So we will see in any of the problem if some of the test cases fail, right? So we'll see how to solve it, but in this case it has worked. Okay, so that's all. We'll see in the next problem. Thanks guys.